Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every main character's music theme in the Kingdom Hearts franchise from worst to best. Now, it was kind of hard to figure out which themes count as like a bona fide official character theme, and some of them probably have remixes or something somewhere. But just to identify some parameters here, I went with all the main character themes that were in the other section of Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. You know, that rhythm game that came out after KH3 that they expected you to spend 40 bucks on for some reason? Well, I did, so I guess they were right. Not that I have more than 5 hours of playtime on it, but I digress. Regardless of worth, it at least functions as a convenient jukebox for this video idea. So we've got one theme each for Sora, Riku, Kairi, Naminé, Roxas, Terra, Aqua, Ventus, and that one chick I always forget. 9 themes total, and we're going to rank them based on stuff like their musicality, what they evoke emotionally, and how iconic they are. Some of these I didn't remember off the top of my head going in. In fact, initially there's probably only 5 I could have hummed at any given time. Honestly, I didn't even know Terra had a theme, and if he did, I would have assumed it was a bunch of derpy trombones because of how flagrantly stupid he is in Birth by Sleep. Every word out of his mouth should have been accompanied by a wah wah. Terra's theme is just a bland action trope that doesn't go anywhere interesting, and even after listening to it repeatedly for this video, I feel like there's nothing to remember. It's only a 40-second loop, which I feel like you can't get away with unless the entirety of the melody is iconic, which this is not. It probably already repeated over the course of me talking about it. Lame and forgettable. Worst character theme. Since when? I've played Kingdom Hearts 2 a dozen times and I've never heard this theme before, which is on brand because as I'm typing this, I just listened to it 5 minutes ago and I already don't remember it. The World That Never Was tracks all kind of blend together for the most part, so I never would have differentiated one of them being particularly Riku's theme. Not that they're not good, there's just not a lot of distinction outside of the truly elite ones. Still, I count this among the weaker songs. There isn't much to latch onto melodically, though I prefer when the strings are carrying it. Gives it a cooler, more mysterious, edgy vibe, which is perfect for a silver-haired 16-year-old with a blindfold on. The piano is somehow the most boring part when it usually carries iconic Kingdom Hearts themes, mostly being used here for basic repetitive set dressing. If we were judging solely based on an instrumental's ability to hold my interest while listening to it, Sora's theme would be dead last. It's pretty much the only character theme that's allowed to be optimistic, which makes sense for the character, but it's also just so basic. It somehow manages not to be dull, mostly because it's carried by the story implications that generally accompany it. When you hear this theme, an adventure is either starting or reaching a positive turning point. Every time I hear this, I can picture one of the good fairies telling Sora, "This journey's gonna be twice as difficult as your last," which pumps you up as a player, like, hell yeah, bring it on, you exclusively blue bitch. Still, for being the face of the whole franchise, I think Sora deserves something that wasn't as simple as he is, that we would ever actually choose to listen to. Kairi's theme is very innocent and sweet, and has the benefit of being iconic to carry its extremely short length, but it also showcases a musical pet peeve of mine that I've noticed the composer indulges in a lot, which is when they play the melody in 2 octaves, but they quickly alternate the lower and higher note of it, so the higher note comes out delayed. I just don't personally like how that sounds. It can be cool in other genres with other instruments, but on a plucky, high-pitched piano behind a flute that isn't doing that, just hits my ears wrong. Other than the menu theme, this was probably the first instrumental that really stuck with the people who played the first game, so it has obviously endured. I just think it should be remixed to not do that thing, if it hasn't been already. So I did a video like this for the Pokemon Gym Leader themes, and I've encountered the same phenomenon here that I did for Sword and Shield's gym theme, which is that I look back on its place in the game in context like, wow, that was incredible, I love this theme. And then I go listen to it separately as a soundtrack, and it just sounds different than I remember, like worse different. Like, was the high piano part after the beginning really that intrusive before? When the main melody is hitting, the piano goes up a few notches and starts ruining it, like it either needed to be turned down or switched to a softer piano sound. The beginning piano is great, and then the right-hand part just becomes an obstacle that the rest of the track is fighting against. Roxas is my favorite Kingdom Hearts character, and his theme always hits me hard, especially towards the end of his introductory days in Twilight Town as Sora reawakens. So when I started making this video, I was sure I was going to put this in the top 2, but listening to it like this just doesn't feel right. Luckily, other themes coming up are basically just better versions of this, but that also feels kind of wrong because I give way less of a shit about their respective characters. Music is weird. I mean, you can hear it right in the beginning. It's basically the same thing as Roxas at first, but then it transitions into a much smoother listening experience with wailing violins and cellos and whatnot. The roving bands of strings really weave together an emotional track that I would describe as beautiful desperation. I don't think the melody is iconic like Roxas's, but it's definitely something you can enjoy as a piece of music without needing story-based context. I'm a big piano and strings guy anyway, with the help of growing up with tracks like this in Kingdom Hearts, so I do enjoy listening to it evolve as the franchise does. This is definitely another offshoot of Roxas's theme, but instead of going the Aqua route of, "Hi, you're listening to me scream internally," it maintains a more blissful peace, reminiscent of someone who hasn't yet been educated on the dangers of the world. Ventus's theme is more like what I was expecting Roxas's theme to sound like coming back. No annoyances or arguable imperfections, just a good-ass theme to sit back and remember stuff while you listen to it. Granted, I'm not as invested in the Terra Aqua Ventus trio, given how much I don't like playing the game they were introduced in, but I still know a terrific theme when I hear one, and they based it off a banger to begin with and basically made it better. So here's the deal. This is my favorite Kingdom Hearts theme. I think the piano in this is second to none. They took Kairi's theme and really classed it up in my mind. That said, I'm not a huge fan of the up and down harp part that starts playing in the background. I think it's distracting. It's an impressive harp part, to be sure. You can imagine the person playing it pawing rapidly at their instrument like a dog digging up a bone. It's just not for me. And I'd prefer if they just had some basic background strings or a choral sound in there doing whole notes and whatnot. The piano is so good that I think you take away from it by putting anything in there that makes me focus less on the piano, but what do I know? I earn like $1 a month from my music. Alright, I'm not really sure what's going on here. There's clearly a gorgeous theme that we're all listening to right now, but I can't place it. It is from Kingdom Hearts, right? The screen says it's from Days, and I've seen Days as a movie and played a little of the game, but I'm trying to remember who was in that, because the title of this song is in French, and it's either trying to tell me whose theme this is or sell me a baguette. Days was all about Roxas and Axel being ice cream butt buddies, but I feel like there was more to it. They showed you the ropes, and then weren't they having you show someone else the ropes? I'm guessing their name wasn't Musique or La Tristesse? I feel like another Keyblade was involved somehow. It feels like I should totally remember this, but I'm just drawing a blank. Anyway, the track itself is delightfully sad. It does that octave thing I don't like, but the bell sound is at least a different and cuter style, and it's also the only theme that doesn't just loop after less than a minute. There's a lot more to digest here. I'm getting some feelings of longing, some loneliness, a desire to belong, and an overwhelming notion that someone wasn't meant to exist, like more than usual, like an outcast among outcasts, someone who couldn't even reside in memory. Anyway, I don't know whose theme this is, but I hope they're doing okay. Well, that's gonna do it for this ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos with the nagging feeling that you forgot something important, and I'll see you guys next time.